My sisters and brothers, I greet you all with the love and peace of the Lord. I invite you to meditate together with me on the holy word of God of 7th August 2022, the 19th ordinary Sunday. The trust, alert, ready, and prepared, indicative of our reflection. Life is always marked by precarity and uncertainty, but God's promises and action are sure and fulfilling. We are called to be good servants and faithful stewards of our Master. How to be so? What are some features of such servantship and stewardship? We can synthesize all these marks into the three fundamental theological virtues. They are namely faith, hope, and charity. It is not a peripheral, superficial faith that believes certain doctrines and truths, or recites some prayers, or performs certain religious activities. It is a living faith that trusts deeply, relates intimately, and surrenders totally. It is a faith that confides in God's promises even beyond ages and times. It is a faith that is ready to undergo any trial and test and readily proves its depth and reliability. It is a test proven faith. It is a faith that shows itself in action like Abraham. He left his own country and people to travel to an unknown land. He trusted in God's promise of an heir and multitude of descendants even in his ripe age. He trusted in God's just and unfailing ways and was ready to sacrifice his only son, even against the apparent violation of God's promise of a multitude of nations. Another hallmark of a good servant and friend of God is hope. True hope is not mere wishful thinking or having great ambitions and expectations. Hope is not losing heart even when everything goes wrong. Hope is keeping alive our trust and confidence in God even when He seems to fail us. Hope hopes in God's loyalty even against all hopes. A faithful servant and steward of God is also characterized by charity. Benevolence towards others authenticates a good servant. Faith and hope demonstrate how one is before God and in relation to God. But charity shows concretely how one becomes and acts toward others. Thus, all the good people of faith and hope are also people of charity. One cannot be a faithful and hopeful person excluding being a charitable person. All these three essential ingredients of faith, hope, and charity are spread in all the three readings. They are studied into the description of a good servant by Jesus. Different expressions of Jesus indicate these. Faith includes being awake, being alert, ready, being prepared, being dressed for action with lamps lit and burning. Faith keenly and eagerly serves the Master. Faith shares both the blessings and sufferings. Faith considers God and his concerns as the greatest treasures and sets its heart in them. Hope includes waiting on the Master, not getting upset at delay and reversal of expectations. Hope trusts perseveringly in God's justice and mercy, in his intervention and vindication. Hope trusts in God's definitive way of destruction of the evil and deliverance and glorification of the good. Hope waits patiently for God's own time and in God's own way. Finally, the fidelity of a servant is testified by charity. This is shown in deep respect and concern for others. There is no degrading or despising or ill treating. There is no neglect or unconcern. There is no irresponsibility and failing in duty and service. And now the imperative for our life. How many of today's servants of the Master stand these tests? First of all, how many followers of Christ are aware that they are only servants and disciples and not masters and bosses?